Great way to start the podcast, let me tell you.
Oh,
What's up, everyone? On our play for this week, Days Gone Studios' new game is, surprise, a live service game.
can't wait.
Black Panther, I know, right? Black Panther vs. Captain America in this new cinematic trailer for Marvel's 1943 Rise of Hydra from
You won't
Sky.
believe. You won't believe what he calls him.
Oh no! Oh no!
Hey, it's 1943.
It cuts right before that. Is that a?
Hey, that was the most patriotic thing you could do at the time. If I, hey.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Huge changes are coming to Overwatch 2. That could change how you play the game. Insane. Dragon's Dogma 2. Did I say? No, Dragon's Dogma 2 is finally out. Should you dive into this ARPG fantasy adventure? We'll have the answer for you. I will have the answer for you. All this and more in Season 8, Episode 12 of Press X Start Gamers Digest. I can still kind of hear myself in my ear. Oh my gosh. What's up, everyone? I'm your host, DJ, a.k.a. Sexy Bad Choices, a.k.a. the adventurer that lost all of his pawns to a very bad jump.
Mm-hmm.
Things happens. I am joined by
Sean MF Ross.
What does the MF stand for?
The leader of Negro Star Command.
Oh, okay.
Nah, it's just these damn headsets. They just look
futuristic. You about to make first contact?
Hey, I mean, at least I'm not in the what was that? The American Society of Magical Negroes.
Oh yeah, that movie. Yeah. Ooh, that.
They had a chance and they blew it.
They did. Yeah. It was a twist to everybody. Anyways, this is Press X to Start Gamers Digest, a video podcast that condenses the most important gaming news from this past week into an hour-long meal just for you. We are live on YouTube every Sunday, whenever we can make it. All right, life gives us challenges, and we must rise to the occasion every Sunday. So we're here for you. Don't forget, you can support us by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and hit the notification bell. If you are listening and not watching, it's cool. We understand you're busy. We're busy. You can do us a solid by giving us a review, letting us how we're doing, brightening our days. We appreciate it. But if you're watching, please, as I said before, like this video, subscribe. The subscribing part is good. We actually need both. It's not just one. We need both. So do that, please. And if you want, you can join our conversations by going to the link, URL, pressx2start.com/Discord. And that will take you there so you can join in with us as we laugh about things like who is going to win this fight between the dude from Solo Leveling and
okay.
And Saitama. We have conversations like that all the time, and it's fun. Anyways, let's get back into gaming. Number one in the gaming news: Dragon's Dogma 2 is out. I'll give my early impressions, but right now it's sitting at Opencritic at an 89, Metacritic at an 86.
Oh, I mean, it's just almost as good as Infinite Wealth.
Almost, yeah. It just, Infinite Wealth had about I guess Yakuza had about 7 releases between when Dragon's Dogma 1 came out and now Dragon's Dogma 2. So
hey, the quality was consistent. I will say that.
That's true. So yeah, right now it's sitting very high at Opencritic. I'm looking at Opencritic mainly because the way they do the review scores, or the way they aggregate their scores, it is not weighted like Metacritic, so everyone has an equal shot. Yeah. So honestly, 89 is a lot higher than I was expecting. If you have listened to any of the podcasts since, I don't know, the inception of this podcast, you'll know that I've been a diehard Dragon's Dogma supporter. And even I understand the shortcomings of that game, and to see it do this well, to see people talking about how it is their game of the year and like the combat is amazing and all the like moment to moment stuff that happens is just amazing in this game. I'm just like, wow, I'm shocked. I just remain shocked that everyone's enjoying this game as much as I know I will. I've spent about 7 hours in this game, and it is Dragon's Dogma to its core, to a weird point where it's not a it's a sequel because it's Dragon's Dogma 2, but at the same time, it kind of feels like a remake of Dragon's Dogma 1 because the situation that you're put in,
It's
it's
similar.
like a different yeah, it's very similar. It's like a different place, but it's the same scenarios, right? The way that this game starts is very different from Dragon's Dogma 1, but you are still put in those same situations. You still have to travel to this place. Like right now, one of the
I mean,
main
isn't it all the games? You have to travel to this place.
yes, that's true, that's true. And of course the developer had this whole thing about traveling is so important in this game. We don't want to limit we want to not rely on fast travel. All that stuff was said. We're actually going to get to some of that because there were some microtransactions that appeared in this game after it was released and everyone's just like, "Oh, what this is crazy." We'll get into that. But so yeah, like the big thing at this game is traveling, and when you're traveling, you can stick to the roads where you'll be pretty safe, but you want to adventure off the roads, and that's where you'll find a lot of the, surprising things and that the things that make Dragon's Dogma such a fun time to play. So, with that being said, it's from my 7 hours of the game, I can see why people are so high on it, and I just can't wait for all the things I know is going to be hidden in this game. And Dragon's Dogma 1 does such a fantastic job of the more time you put into the game, the better the experience will be. So the first 10 hours, you are still just kind of getting accustomed to everything. And then after that, after you're able to grow in your class, like merge different classes to have these hybrid class, like it's just chef kiss in gameplay. So I'll have more talks on this later on, but let's get into the actual news. So Dragon's Dogma 2 microtransactions, including optional $2 appearance change, aren't going over well. This comes to us from GameSpot. By way of from who? Darren Bonfuse, maybe? Yeah. So as I was saying earlier, there is a so Dragon's Dogma 2 is currently sitting as mixed user review on Steam, as players are pointing out that the game's technical issues and controversial microtransactions. At the time of writing, Dragon's Dogma 2 has 21 separate microtransactions available for purchase, with the full bundle costing $41.79 on top of the game's launch price of $70. It is to note that 9 of these items are pulled from the Deluxe Edition's DLC, while others include $2 microtransactions to change your character's appearance with an in game item or wake stone for $1 each for when you need a quick resurrection. It's worth noting that these items can be found while playing Dragon's Dogma 2, but they are incredibly rare and you will need a lot of in game currency to acquire them from vendors. They can also be unlocked or discovered while adventuring. Officially, these microtransactions were unveiled a day before the global release of Dragon's Dogma 2. Okay, so that's that.
Black.
So let's actually get into um, these microtransactions. So I will say that I had purchased the deluxe version of Dragon's Dogma 2 because I wanted to, spend a little extra money because, it's the game I talked about a lot. Actually, I didn't. This is the first time I've gotten the deluxe version of a game in a really long time. Like, I didn't do it for Armor Core. I didn't do it.
I
Yeah.
just want to point out how unfair life is. How God has just blessed you within 12 calendar months with
Yo.
fucking Armored Core 6 and Dragon's Dogma 2. And
Hey, I know I am up for a incredible L and I am just riding the high until I hit the rocks. I know it's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen, but like next up on my bingo card is Jet Set Radio, and
I mean, we
that could
already
be
have
the
that
L.
coming out. We already know that's coming
I
out.
It's coming out, but that could be the L though, and I don't know. But yeah, like I don't know what it is,
The
man.
the
Like
fact that it's even announced and coming out, my guy.
yeah.
I can't even get an announcement. I can't even get a trademark announcement.
Hey man, we're all rooting for you. One day we'll see the whole rumor of Parasite Eve has I got what trademark leaked in Korea or something. It's gonna come. It's gonna come. There's a fan base for that game, so it'll be
Mm,
here. So yeah.
like,
So the items that are present. So okay, to clarify, there's actually no store in game that has microtransactions on it. The
yeah.
microtransactions are just DLC items that you have to go through either the Steam page or the PlayStation page to find these things. Because I was actually looking in game for a store to like see where you would buy this stuff, but it wasn't in game. These items, though, as a person who spent 7 hours in this game, as a person who's played Dragon's Dogma 1 and spent a lot of time in Dragon's Dogma 1, the wake stones which are used to revive you, there is a new system in this game where when you hire a pawn, and a pawn is basically an NPC character that everyone who's playing the game they make one, and you can hire that pawn companion to join with you in your game. You can have up to 3 pawns. One of those pawns being the pawn that you create. The wake stone will allow you to revive your player character if you die, not the pawns. If the pawns die, then they'll just go back to the rift area, and you can just go to a rift stone and revive the pawns, and everything is fine. The rift crystals are used to buy or are used to hire the pawns, not necessarily buy the pawns, but used to hire the pawns. The rift crystals you get from just playing the game, like when your pawn goes out and does stuff,
Hmm.
every time you rest at an inn, it will update the stuff that your pawn has done. And when it updates, you get either rewards from doing pawn quests or rift crystals or both or whatever. So you get, and then actually some of the pawn quests will be wakestone shards. And every 3 wakestone shards, you get a wakestone. Essentially, I'm saying all this to say that you will get wake stones and rift crystals if you
Anyway,
just play the game. Yeah. So those are really, really meant for the people who don't have time to really invest in this game, but still want to invest in this game. So that's definitely like a um, ease of life purchase, right?
I think people just
Um,
feel that it was slimy because they just didn't say anything about it. It didn't come out until what, like you said, the day before launch.
yeah. So it didn't. So that part is weird because I had I'm listening to different podcasts or whatever, and a couple people mentioned that like this was known a while ago apparently. So
Did you
even
know it?
that,
Because if anybody knew
no,
the shit, you would have known it.
exactly right. I didn't know. Like I was surprised by the microtransaction thing, but I think there might have been something said, but I don't think that was public. So I think that's where the confusion is because a lot of the reviewers, and the other thing to be said is that the reviewers who played this game played it without the microtransactions. So they played and beat the game without needing to buy any of the stuff. So that stuff that is there is not necessarily important for your experience for the game because that stuff you can just get in game anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's a thing of like I understand the frustration. I think for me, I weigh more on the performance. Although my 7 hours, I really haven't had too much issue. Don't even say too much. I didn't have any issue graphically with this game. If anything, my game went from 30 frames to like 60 frames in kind of weird places sometimes. So just like, oh, I'm in the Matrix. What's going on? But yeah, like under 30 yet. Again, I am playing on PS5, and this game was from from my memory, I think built for PS5 and then
Nah.
optimized for yeah. So yeah, it's and then there's other stuff like the uh, a change pawn's inclination. So that kind of gets into the nitty gritty of min maxing your pawns because you can change the way they behave in game. So you have this cool thing of if you pick certain personalities for your pawns, they'll react a different way in game. Like one of my pawns will just go and collect stuff and bring it back to me, and another pawn is really good about supporting, so they will make sure like my 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 people are like healthy or healed up or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like really cool things like mixing matching you can do to make like a set of pawns that really work for you and how you play the game. Again, that is I believe that's something that you'll get. Like, all this stuff is you'll get in the game, and it's just I don't know. I could sit here for hours and kind of just go through all this stuff. I don't necessarily think that that's even needed. Um, watch a video, like watch, one of our shorts that we put out for Dragon's Dogma. If the game appeals to you, then play the game. You just know that you don't need any of these microtransactions to, have a better time in that game. You're still going to get wrecked by a Cyclops every now and then. It's going to happen. Um, Part B of this story. Determined to improve Dragon's Dogma 2 performance by any means necessary, framerate fiends plot murder spree of RPGs, inconsequential, and CPU-hungry NPCs. So this is a weird thing where they have sort of determined that a lot of the CPU drag is essentially pulled from having to process all the NPCs that are around in the cities and stuff. I guess once you get into cities, that's when you might take a hit in terms of frame. I haven't gotten to the main city yet, so I think at that point it's going to be a better gauge of like, oh, okay, is this dipping? Is this fine or whatever? But yeah, that's their plot. They're going to try to kill people. Cool, I guess. Keep doing what you do. Number 2, Days Gone Studios' new IP is a live service game. This comes to us from Games Rant by way. Oh, wait. I got this stupid ad for the finals just taking up half of the screen. By way of. What in the world? Where did this story go? Oh, no.
Game rant, folks. Game rant.
There it is. I got it.
Dominique Bojnjak. I don't know. That's my
This
time to
guy
talk
nailed
about
it. Hey, he did a
it.
better job than I would have done. So, essentially, what's happening here is that Days Gone developer appears to be moving well outside his comfort zone in order to join Sony's ongoing foray into live service games. A while ago, when we were talking about Ben Studio and their potential next game, I think it was rumored that it was going to be a single player game, but now it looks like they have changed direction and are working on a live service game. The one thing I wonder about this
Mhm.
is I wonder how old this rumor is. I know we're reporting on it now, so it must be like a new rumor, but
Yeah.
it feels like for them to be working on a live service game, well, I guess if the direction
I
was
mean, they could
made,
still be working on it. We don't know that Sony canceled
yeah,
everything they had in the pipeline.
that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, if they put like time into this, then it would make sense that this would still be a thing, and especially if it's doing well, they'd probably just continue it, and
Because I
then
mean, Days Gone was a good game.
yeah, right,
People
right.
just kind of shit on it unnecessarily because of
Last of Us.
Deacon's. Not even that, just Deacon's grumbling to himself like loudly
Oh yeah.
while he's by himself, and then I think at the time that it launched, we just had zombie fatigue. It had nothing to do with The Last of Us. It's just that
Mm,
we got what Dying Light, Dead Island, The Last of Us. We got
mhm.
Walking Dead games. We got Walking Dead the show. It was oversaturation at that point. Just like how we have battle royale games are hot, and then it's oversaturated market. It was a
That's a
good
good point.
game,
Yeah,
and in
yeah.
hindsight, people are looking at it and playing it after the fact, and they're like, "Damn, why did
Appreciating
this?"
the game now.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it missed this moment, unfortunately. So
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I'm
That's annoying.
interested. I'm interested to see what they put out next. I
Yeah,
mean, Days Gone was a solid game.
right. Yeah, I definitely would be interested to see what this ends up being. So, just to read on a little bit, the company has now offered some indirect hints about the nature of its upcoming title. According to a recent Surface Bend Studio job ad reviewed by Game Rant, the developer's new IP is a live service game. The listing, which advertises an open for a lead project manager, explicitly mentioning live service games twice, not once, not twice,
Mm.
but twice, both in the context of the eventual hire's everyday responsibilities and the ideal candidate's required and preferable experience. So yeah, seems like that's gonna happen. When will we see this? We don't know. I think right now for PlayStation, we have Concord that's supposed to come out this year. That's gonna be a live service thing. Then I think Fair Games, which is the Jade 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 Studio. I don't know. But yeah, I think those two games are supposed to be the live service stuff from PlayStation this year.
Keep
So we'll
talking. You
see.
switch on my headset.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. Number 3. Oh, I'm about to show the Marvel's the 1943 trailer where Captain America calls the Black Panther a jigaboo. Craziness. No, he doesn't. All right. So yeah, let's play this trailer. So this trailer was shown actually let me just do the actual article first and then we'll do the trailer. Or I'll play the trailer while I'm doing the article because I can multitask. All right. This article. This comes to us from VG 24/7. Marvel's 1943 Rise of Hydra has been revealed and it's a visual banger. That's true. This trailer is actually really impressive.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
Yeah. I'm not playing the trailer yet. I'm about to though. So yeah, as the title suggests, this trailer takes place in 1943, and as Sean suggests, Black people was not looked favorably back then. So we'll see if that's portrayed well in this.
So where does this look like it's set?
So I think it's going to be like a global thing because I think the Hydra stuff is probably in a like Germany, I think. But I think it's going to be like also in the US and stuff. But yeah, in terms of visuals, so this trailer was actually shown at the Unreal Showcase using Unreal 5.4. And as I said, it looks amazing. It's set to release in 2025. There's no season nor month or anything like that. It's just a 2025 game somewhere. This game, though, was shown off by Amy Hennig. If you don't know who Amy Hennig is, she was the former writer and director behind the Uncharted series.
He also worked on Forspoken.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we had a whole talk about that. It was her and Gary Whitta. Yeah, you're right. So we'll see if the if the writing is on par on this. You know what I mean? We'll see. We'll see.
I want to see that Mafia 3 levels of realism.
Yeah.
In this game.
So yeah, like
game. Go ahead.
right. So yeah, so following her work on Uncharted, she briefly jumped to Visceral Games before EA shuttered the studio. Following that, she left for Skydance New Media, which is where she's at now and making this game. So yeah, that looked pretty cool. What is your thoughts on the trailer? I'm just gonna play it again. What is your thoughts on the trailer?
I'm excited to play it. It looked interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll see where it goes. It's on my list though.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't. It's not enough to really. It was all cinematic. For those who can't watch it, so I mean, everything can't play like Spider-Man. So, do we know who's developing this?
Yeah, it's Skydance New Media. So this is their first game.
You did say that. You did say that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. What's the last? What else have Skydance made?
Nothing. This is their first game. Like, that's that's
Okay, but
sort
they make
of
other things though, right?
I don't know. I think if
That
anything, this is their first AAA game, but I don't think they've made anything.
there's another company called Skydance with a
I think that's
suffix.
a no. Okay, so yeah, Skydance New Media is their game developer branch. Skydance does movies
Okay,
and
that's
like
what I'm.
TVs.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm not crazy. I'm like, what? No.
yeah. So
Um.
go ahead.
Yeah. You go. No. I'm just trying to figure out. No, they made games, kind of.
Did they? Oh,
Arashi, Castles of Sin, Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners,
oh,
Archangel.
they did Saints and
Yeah, so they
they did
made
Saints and
things.
Sinners.
That's the VR game though, so you probably didn't
Yeah,
touch
yeah, yeah. I heard that. I think that was actually received well.
it. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's not bad.
Just because you make one good game doesn't mean
That's true. I
you
mean,
can miss the
like
mark.
for me, my worry is I think with this, this is fine. The fact that they've made like something of a AAA ish game,
Mm-hmm.
that's good. But my usual worry is that a team is formed and they're given a AAA property to use, and like they don't even really know how to work too well together with each other. And it's like you can see all that stuff happen, all that stuff work its way into the actual game itself, and it's just like, oh man, this game could have been a lot better. So I just hope, that stuff is dealt with before we get Marvel's 1943 and it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
this is actually a good game. So yeah,
You know who would be
we'll see.
perfect for this game?
Who?
Jonathan Majors.
We don't know who's voicing T'Challa. Or no, I think it's T'Chaka.
Yeah.
I think that's the father, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't know. We don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Oh man. All right. Before we jump into what's happening with Baldur's Gate 4, hey, you subscribe to this. We have a good time. You can have a good time with us by just liking the video, subscribing to the channel, with the notification bell. And if you are listening, you can still have a good time. Just leave us a review. That way we both have a good time. Because it's both of us that you want us to have a good time. Not just you, but us as well. Go ahead and do that.
I
Then
really
as
just
well,
meant that strong civil rights jawline, not his voice. But go ahead.
Oh, thank you for clarifying. I thought you were talking about the way he emotes all of his stuff with his eyebrows and his lips, like every black person does. You know what I mean? Although I will say us Caribbean people have nailed the whole lip thing. If you don't know what that is, then it's fine. You don't really need to know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's it for the whole subscriber plug. Oh, join the Discord. Press x2start.com/Discord. Join. It's cool. We have fun. All right, number 4. Larian started work on Baldur's Gate 3 DLC, then canceled it. The studio was elated. This comes to us from IGN by way of, this thing is loading, Kate Bailey. So, as the title suggests, they was working on a DLC and ultimately it was canceled and they felt like their heart wasn't into the DLC. As a person who played Baldur's Gate 3, who's currently playing a second run of Baldur's Gate 3, I don't know how he's going to play this and play Dragon's Dogma 2 at the same time. I totally agree with this. I don't think this game needs DLC. What I would want the most from Larian Studios is not a sequel to Baldur's Gate, but a Baldur's Gate 4 that is in the same, as I say this out loud, it's like, do I really want this? Like in the same world with different characters. And it's like, the reason why I say, do I really want this is because the setting and the plot of Baldur's Gate 3 has you, you're infected with a brain parasite and you have to figure out what's going on with that parasite. How come you're not becoming an evil squid Cthulhu looking creature because of the parasite? And it thrusts you into an adventure that takes you to Baldur's Gate, which is like the main city of this region and it's, X, Y, and Z. And it's like to have it wouldn't be that same story. So I guess you would change the time period, but that kind of gets into a bunch of stuff. So I think ultimately
Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro is free to license it out to somebody else.
That's the thing. So I think I understand why Larian's just like, hey, look, we're gonna take a step back from D&D and all this stuff. Like they went on to say that although they enjoyed making this game, they had a lot of technical difficulties working with like making their stuff built into D&D and with Wizard of the Coast as well. It's like although this game made a lot of money, it's still owned by Wizard of the Coast and well, more so Wizard of the Coast and Hasbro. So that money went to, it was always split off, some of it to go to Wizard of the Coast. So it makes sense that Larian to be like, all right, well, let's just make our own thing. We know how to make great games. We'll just make our own thing. I hope they still stay in the RPG realm. They can do a CRPG. It doesn't have to be D&D. It can be D&D inspired, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like hard D&D, but they can still take the stuff that works from the D&D, mechanics. So yeah, I get it. Them as devs making a game that was Game of the Year last year, it's probably going to be one of the top 10 games of this generation because it's just such a great game for what it's doing. They have all the headway to say no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do a different game. And some people are going to be upset, but other people are going to be like, all right, let me see what you got. And they've also went ahead and said that this next game is going to Baldur's Gate 3 essentially is going to be dwarfed by the the bigness and fullness of this next game. So it's like, okay, they're just gonna make a bigger game. That's cool. And that's another thing where I also agree. I think Baldur's Gate is a great deep game, but if you really just play it, it doesn't take long to beat. So it's just a lot of like side stuff you can do. Yeah. So yeah, that's that. The other little tidbit of this is that Baldur's Gate 3 boss blasts publishers' greed behind layoffs. This comes to us from Eurogamer by way of Tom Phillips. So, the director of Baldur's Gate 3, Sven Vicky. I was saying this guy's name before the podcast. Vinky. Yeah, Sven Vinky. Sven Vinky. Yes, I'll get it eventually. So yes, he won an award for where is it? Best Narrative Award. Yeah, so the GDCA Best Narrative Award. So after he won this award, just like how when he won the award for Game of the Year at the Game Awards last year, he went off about like, the greed of the publisher and so on and so forth. And he just continued that same energy here and had this giant like speech about it. This time he wasn't, given only 5 or 6 minutes or whatever. And I read a lot of the speech, and it is great. I'll read like a tidbit of it because it's a really long speech. He said, "Greed has been fucking this whole thing up for so long since I started. I've been fighting publishers my entire life, and I keep seeing the same mistakes over and over and over. It's always the quarterly profits," he continued. "The only thing that matters are the numbers. And then you fire everybody, and then next year you say, shit, I'm out of developers. And then you start hiring people again. And then you do the acquisitions, and then you put them in the same loop again, and it's just broken. You don't have to. You can make reserves, just slow down a bit. Slow down on the greed. Be resilient. Take care of the people. Don't lose the institutional knowledge that's been built up in the people you lose every single time. You have to go through the same cycle over and over and over. It really pisses me off." So, and what he says is exactly right, because we see it happen all the time where we're just like, why would you get rid of all these people knowing you still have to make games? And it's like, you just change the way that the game is made, change the focus of the game. Like,
because they don't want anybody at any place for too long, because then you have to start giving them raises and all that good stuff, and that's expensive when I need a boat. So
that's true. That's true, because boat's life,
I mean, we're gonna continue to see this cycle because even more so that it's a billion-dollar industry now, and they don't
Yeah.
see the games as art; they see it as a cash cow, and you're
Yep.
gonna see truly great stuff from smaller studios in the future, but we're gonna continue to see the machine, just churn out people like Call of Duty and Fortnite and whatever else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Granted, I
Yeah.
think I don't has Epic laid off people too, didn't they?
They did, yeah. They did too.
Okay.
Yeah. I think at this point, everybody has laid off people. Now, Nintendo has too, but I think Nintendo has laid off like
To a
less
lesser
than 100
degree,
people.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But like Nintendo is king at just making games and be like, all right, we're gonna shelf this and wait for a time to put
The
this
right
out. Like
time.
I think there is, and this comes from Jeff Grubb. I think there is like a Fire Emblem game that's already made and it's just not been released because they're just like, we don't need to release it right now, so we'll just hold this. Um, one of the recent games they put out, it was actually, I think it was the Metroid game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that was made for a while and they just kind of put it on the shelf and just like, we'll put it out when we feel like we should put it out. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with doing that. And again, it does come to greed. It does come to getting a lot of money now to, you know, fill whatever pockets you want to fill, to buy whatever boat you want to buy. And it's like, it's all bullshit, really, because at the end of the day, you do all this and then you burn bridges with your developers by laying them off. The
Yeah.
industry sees it and the industry
What are they
calls
gonna do?
you a
Not work?
yeah, yeah, right. But like the industry calls you out and calls you like a shitty publisher, and no one comes to your studio, and then you end up making crap games and you end up just putting yourself further in a hole.
They
Like,
don't care because they'll just sell the IP properties and bounce out.
yeah, exactly.
Somebody like Racer Group. Yeah.
And then look at a Embracer Group now. They are just barely afloat. They got the lips just above the water. So like it it bothers me, but at the same time, I I hope with all these layoffs, all the reduction that's happening, that people don't go back to these companies that have been treating employees bad. I hope that like the industry as a whole understands, okay, we need to stay away from uh Activision, or we need to stay away from Blizzard or whatever, and like make those publishers have to build up the trust and build up, their. I smell smoke, but it smells good. I think there might be grilling next door or something.
Hmm.
I hope I'm not being cooked slowly.
Terrible.
We'll find out on the next podcast. But yeah, man, it's just it's greed, and greed sucks. So it needs to go away, and they need to. I hope things will get better in the future. Number 5. Speaking of getting better in the future, Overwatch 2 is finally giving out all heroes for free upfront. Game director admits not all attempts to balance the paywall competitive advantage worked. This comes to us from Games Radar by way of Catherine Lewis. So, finally, things are changing for Overwatch 2. They are now giving everybody access to all the characters, and those characters are no longer essentially tied behind a paywall. Um, they have been doing, all they could to balance the whole aspect of, okay, well, this character is behind a paywall, so people who pay for this character gets access to the character earlier than the people who are just trying to grind it out to get the character for free. And that time spent means that the people who have the new characters have a competitive edge, essentially, because they have access to more characters and more abilities and X, Y, and Z. So there was just an unfairness to that, which, yes, of course, there would be an
what do
unfairness
they
to that.
think was gonna happen?
Exactly. I look at this and I'm trying to be as positive as possible with this, in that this is great for the players. This is great for Marcus. Shout out to you, Marcus. You'll be able to play with the flower guy if you haven't bought him. He looked pretty cool when he came out last year, last year, I think. Yeah, so props to you. But my my critical eye is like, okay, well, you just let go of the, I guess, best way to, get that microtransaction out of people, in terms of you buy this battle pass or you buy whatever to unlock the character. So now it's like the only thing that's left, from my recollection, is the skins, right? You just have to buy skins, or you have to monetize the skins a bit more to make that money back, because we know right now that Overwatch 2, a la Blizzard, is not in a good place with this game. It hasn't been in a good place with this game since it came out, to be honest.
It'd be all right.
So yeah,
Candy Crush and Call of Duty will, keep the lights on for
yeah,
the time being.
that's the hope. I don't know if that's the expectation. I think Microsoft will probably do what it can do, and they'll probably try different strategies to make Overwatch 2, as not fun, but as popular as Overwatch 1 was. And we'll see. We'll see if that happens. We'll see if they are able to do that and invest in that way. Um, there are a couple of Overwatch stories. So the second part to this is that Overwatch 2 is reportedly due to get story missions every 18 months. This also comes to us from Games Radar. Wait a minute. Where did this one go? What happened to my stories?
I don't know.
I had all this stuff laid out. No, I got it. Okay. By Anna Marie Oistler? Osler. Is that Osler? Yes, you're right. Osler. So essentially what happened here, and it's actually pretty quick. They were supposed to they had the story element that was going to be a part of Overwatch 2 that was going to differentiate Overwatch 2 from Overwatch 1. But that didn't happen because there's development issues, as always, and money issues, as always. So they went from it being a single player element to these PvE story based missions, and 3 of which was added in August of last year, 2023. More was said to arrive at a later date, yet for the last 6 months, Blizzard had remained frankly or fairly quiet on the matter. So essentially, we're looking at the wonder if we will ever get those additional story, missions. And it seems to be the case that might not happen because of, development issues and just lackluster sales of Overwatch 2. Then we look at the story we just talked about in terms of them giving the characters for free, and it's like, okay, so they're trying to do a bunch of things really quickly.
They screwed themselves. That's all. They just
They
screwed
did.
themselves
They really did.
what's funny is that the gaming industry layoffs hit so hard. They started laying off the players because it used to be a goddamn 6v6 game, and now it's 5v5. They screwed themselves by making this change and trying to cater to I don't know who. They were gonna sell battle passes and skins. Now they're giving away the characters, and they didn't have to sell the skins. Look at Apex Legends model. You can either buy it outright or play long enough and earn a character. I don't know, man. I don't know what Blizzard's doing with Overwatch, and I don't think they know either. They're trying to scramble to figure out how to keep it profitable. Are that many people buying $25 skins?
We're gonna get to
That
that.
that
We're
the
gonna get to
game
that
is.
right now. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like just to get along with what you're saying, it's mind-boggling how Blizzard essentially shot themselves in the leg with the well-received Overwatch 1 to the poorly received Overwatch 2, and the changes they made because they felt like it was necessary. Like you don't you don't remove a whole player from a match. Like that was such a weird move, and it shook everyone from the esports wing to the casual players to the casual like groups who had their like 6 people or
Already 6
whatever.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, why would you do that? And it was just a cascading shots to the legs every step of the way to get to here, where it's just like, all right, we'll just have to give the characters for free, and then we'll turn around and charge people $25 for skins. We'll get so this comes to us by Games Radar. As Overwatch 2 continues its onslaught of $25 skins, its director reveals Blizzard wasn't sure if its cosmetics alone could fund the game. Probably won't. Probably won't. The latest, this comes to us by Catherine Lewis. The latest Cowboy Bebop skins cost more individually than Overwatch 1 did before it shut down. So we talked actually, hey, if you join our Discord, you could have probably listened to our or watch or be a part of our conversation of these Cowboy Bebop skins when we saw the trailer for it. Yeah, they're they're okay skins. They're okay skins. I think, Blizzard has a great art direction, or the Blizzard team for Overwatch has a great art direction. They have great artists, and I think those artists did a fantastic job with meshing the Spike, Faye, and Jet
The theme and aesthetic.
into
Yeah.
yeah, like into Overwatch. And it's like, that's great. That's cool. It's just a weird thing for Overwatch to be doing the kind of Fortnite thing, I guess. And I don't know if this is the first time they've done it, but I don't remember a time where they have done something like this before. Cause like they've done theme skins, but it's
Yeah.
not like of a
Well,
like
another
another
property.
property. Yeah.
I'm looking.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like, oh, is this their like, are they gonna try to take the Fortnite route to, make the money back from losing the skin? Or no, from losing the money they make from having people buy the new characters and battle pass and so on and so forth? I don't know. I don't know. This kind of gets a little complicated and a little confusing in terms of what is your next play. And the scary side to this is like, do they
Okay.
also not know what their next
They
play
had a
is?
collab with World of Warcraft at one point.
Okay.
Um. Oh, what the hell this is? This looks like some spy shit. They had collabs before, but I mean,
Okay.
not on the level of course, Fortnite. What the
Yeah.
hell is this?
Oh yeah,
These,
yeah.
yeah,
So
these are
yeah,
these are not
it's
known games like how Fortnite be.
yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Diablo.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha,
whatever.
gotcha. So the last little bit to this whole the little Overwatch 2 sandwich is that Overwatch 2 devs lose bonus pay after Blizzard policy change. This comes to us from game developer by way of Justin Carter. So okay, the rocky performance of Overwatch 2 is hitting the developers financially. A new Bloomberg report claims Blizzard staff who worked on the hero shooter won't receive any any bonus compensation. Developers often get bonus pay depending on the game's critical or commercial performance. and Blizzard is no exception. Last summer, a new policy change made it so payouts were now tied to a franchise's overall performance. That is crazy. Ex-Blizzard president J. Allen Barker,
Sure.
Bark,
Yeah,
yeah, and Mike Morhaime reportedly spent a decade calling for everyone to be fairly compensated. Conversely, then Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick, remember that guy, argued those behind the most lucrative games should be rewarded the most. Gotta love it. Gotta love that guy just being the asshole he is. All right. So yeah, uh, they're they don't they don't have the money. They don't have the money to even give the people who worked days, hours, months, overtime, to give them the bonus pay that they should have got, because this policy changed to be put on the overall performance of the game. And it's like, the developers are working on the game, but the overall performance is sort of just a culmination of the developers plus the higher ups making decisions that the developers themselves might not support. So
who probably are keeping their bonus pay for the year, by the way.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure this is not going to affect the higher ups who are putting these policies in place, because there's probably other policies in place to make sure that their money doesn't get touched. And it just sucks. Like, again, this whole thing is just garbage. Just garbage. All right. Number 6. Bungie replaces marathon director amid leadership shakeup. Fears of layoffs. This comes to us from IGN by way of Rebecca Valentine. So, Bungie is in the midst of shifting around its creative leadership on Marathon. If you don't know what Marathon was the extraction shooter that was in the PlayStation Showcase last year, I believe. And it was probably like one of the highlights of the showcase because it actually looked cool. You know, Bungie has a very good art direction and art
May
style.
2023.
Okay, yeah. So that's Marathon, right? So creative leadership on Marathon, including removing longtime Bungie designer Christopher Barrett from the game director role. IGN learned he is being replaced by former Valorant game director Joel Ziegler, who left Riot Games for Bungie in 2022. So the Valorant game director posted on his Twitter saying that he is now going to be working on, or at least for the last 9 months, he's been working on Marathon as a game director. What does this mean for Marathon? We don't really know, but this is just a one of the symptoms that is currently festering in Bungie in terms of their leadership and what's going on, their partnership with PlayStation, them fighting for control of their own company, because that partnership with PlayStation, one of the rules, one of the things that was penned down on paper was that if the company, i.e. Bungie, can't support itself, PlayStation will come in and take it over. And I think at the time when they signed it, they were just like, that's fine. We're like, Destiny 2 is going to carry us. We have whatever Shape of Water or whatever the final shape is going to come out, and it's going to do well, and we're going to be fine. But while a coming Destiny 2 expansion, the final shape is also being prioritized. Actually, no, it's not final shape. The DLC they had before the final shape basically didn't do good. So their lights are blinking. So yeah, while upcoming Destiny 2 expansion, the final shape is also being prioritized, there are growing fears and rumors that layoffs will immediately follow its release. One person with knowledge of the budgets at Bungie told me that nothing adds up, and something will need to happen to curb costs unless the final shape does so well to cover the gap and people can move on to Marathon. So that's scary. You're working on this game.
Sony had them judging other people's work, and they don't even got their own shit in order.
Yes.
It is what it is.
Yes. And that is what I was saying when we first talked about this. I was like, as a person who was a diehard Destiny fan, Destiny wasn't even the best live service game. Like, Destiny had so many problems that it's just like people on the outside just didn't see it, didn't experience it to be like, oh yeah, no, Destiny's a strong game. Yeah, it's still going on. It's like, yeah, it's going on off of crumbs. Like, people love the game because they love the game, but the actual support for the game is like, it's a roller coaster. Sometimes it's great, and other times it's just terrible. Oh my gosh. So yeah, PlayStation probably is regretting the whole deal they made, the money spent for Bungie to see that Bungie's just not doing great. I mean, this does give opportunity for PlayStation, Sony to take over Bungie, but then, there's always human capital to that. People will get laid off. And then on top of that, it is a thing of like, well, Sony has just taken over Bungie, and like, what will they do now? Will they allow Bungie to keep its essence? Like, we don't know. And it gets scary. It just gets really scary. So yeah, that's another thing. We'll just see what happens there. Huh. All right. Before we wrap this up, we got 3 little quickies for you. PS5 is getting a new UI overhaul. This comes to us from Insider Gaming. So this ahead of this comes to us by way of Matt Straw. Nice name. Ahead of any sort of official announcement from Sony, a YouTuber Mystic showed off the new PlayStation 5 UI for his viewers. This new UI appears to have a number of new features, including the ability to change the background image, as well as the Explore page, now showing things like trophies, console storage, and controller and headset battery life. There's also a way to focus the type of content you see on the Explore page, though you won't be able to move the new widgets around at your discretion, which kind of sucks. Mystic mentions that as of now, this update appears to be in beta and is only available to those in the US. That said, an announcement of when every PS5 owner. Yeah, you should check your email, Mr. Gets Everything. Man, y'all, if y'all don't know, because I have to sit here and experience this all the time. If there's a thing that happens, Sean gets it. It don't matter. Like, this man has probably gotten a thing from NASA talking about, hey, you want to be an astronaut? We have a real easy program. Just click on the link.
Hey man, I don't want it.
Right. Oh man. So yeah, this is cool. They have a picture attached, so you can just look it up online to find it. I mean, I'm down for a UI redesign. I think PlayStation has done the best they can with their UX. I'm never happy with their UX, so they change the UX. Sure, give me another chance to be happy with them. We'll see what happens. Do you have any thoughts on their UX or the UI? I should say.
I don't mind it. The last PS5 software beta was February 6th, so I guess I just gotta keep an eye out for it. That's the last time I got an email from them. I don't mind the UI. I mean, you're not playing a fucking UI. You're just playing the game. It's like, just go to the game, log in, play the game. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It's not. If anything, the store, even in the store, got better. It's not that bad. It's not that big a deal, guys. Like,
yeah, the store, I do appreciate the store has gotten better. Although that search is still hot garbage with a capital G and a silent G. Hot garbage.
Their only issue probably is they should have gotten together with Microsoft for the damn smart delivery or something. Because I know, like, when you're trying to select editions, that's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's the only thing that needs work. But other than that, I mean, it's fine.
Yeah. Hopefully it will be finer with this update. You know what I mean? All right. Number 2 in the quickies. GTA 6 release date is February 2025, claims source who got the trailer right. This comes to us from Metro News. That's cool. There's not really much to say about this. The leaker who got the trailer revealed right, he says that this game, or they say this game is coming out February 2025.
Mm.
Will that happen? There's also a rumor that the GTA 6 might get delayed to the following year, which is 2026. So we really don't know. We really have absolutely no idea until Rockstar says something. So we'll see. My hope is that February happens, and
Yeah.
we'll make Black History Month even better. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Foolish.
I don't even know what I mean. All right. And the last little bit is that Denuvo launches in-game watermark tool to counter game leakers. This is interesting. So
What
this
do they
comes to us
mean
by
by this? Is this like, well, is this early releases or people
so
playing in beta?
I just got a text from some random number talking about can we meet tomorrow? I'm like, who is this? I'm sorry, what did you say?
I was saying, is this like for beta or just for shit that breaks street date release dates?
So okay, I'll get into that because they actually get into what this is for. So during GDC 2024, Denuvo makers Iridito revealed it made another piece of anti-piracy software. Unlike previous measures for the Nintendo Switch in the Unreal Engine, this is more concentrated. No, this is more concerned with pre-released leaks rather than game emulation. Known as Tracemark, the technology works as a watermark that lets developers add a unique ID to game files, meaning if something gets leaked, the studio or publisher will have an easier time tracing the source. So, this is going to be some kind of software that goes on top of the files. So, if you have a video that leaks or some kind of document that leaks, there will be some watermark that I guess will be semi visible or maybe just invisible to the eye that, whatever program can read it. And that will be able to tell where it came from,
Yeah.
which great for the developers, kind of sucks for, insider gaming. Jeff Grubb. So we'll see. We'll see what that happens there. Because again, this is Denuvo. Nailed it the second time. And their stuff is not great. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. So that's pretty much it for the gaming news. And I am done talking. Sean, what have you been playing?
I'm still working on Infinite Wealth. I got maybe 2-3 chapters left. This is a culmination of all the great things that Yakuza is. It is a
Mm-hmm.
love letter to all the previous games, and you will appreciate it that much more if you have played all of them. You don't have to play them because I mean they do reference stuff and they do flashbacks, but it all hits harder if you know what they're talking about.
Right. Because you're invested because you know what's going on.
Yeah, like they have a section in the game called hell, I'm playing the game and I don't remember now. But like Awakening the Dragon, basically, you're going through all of Kiryu's memories,
Mm-hmm.
and it's major characters that he's seen and minor characters that he's helped in the street over the years, and it's just like just hits you right in the feels.
That's awesome.
And I was just playing one section where, and I think we've discussed this. Like a Dragon, 7 and 8 are turn-based games, but in Infinite Wealth, there are sections where when you're playing as Kiryu, and a certain meter is full, you can basically, break loose and you're fighting live action real time, just like the previous
Oh,
games.
really?
Yeah, and the section that
That's
I
pretty
was
cool.
at, he was fighting people from the old games, and this spear was around you with like scenes from the past games as you're fighting. So it was just a
Yeah.
cool. It's a cool damn thing, man. Go
That's
go
awesome.
play
That's
all
really
go
cool.
play all the Yakuza games, everybody.
Right? Hey.
And go watch One Piece. It doesn't take that long, I promise you.
Right?
Promise. Just do it.
And then come back and tell us your experience.
Yeah, but no, I think this may be up there with GTA as one of my favorite gaming franchises. And GTA can't because it's a different person in each GTA story. You don't like you remember little scenes from each game, but
Yeah.
not much. Not on the level of like Yakuza writing and all that. This is a melodramatic of, as I've said,
Mhm.
Japanese telenovela. This is All My Children, General Hospital, but for the video game
Yeah.
world. Like it's
Like,
it,
I wonder if Kiryu is the longest running, like, character
in a game.
development. Yeah, because like, you're right, like, in terms of like, I can't think of a game that's been going on for as long as Yakuza have that
Mm.
has a character that's
It's almost
been
20 years now. Yeah.
yeah.
Um I don't know, Metal Gear Solid, I guess. But then again, they haven't had as many games.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
With the
Snake done changes form every other
with
game
the
or whatever.
consistent storyline. You're right.
Yeah.
This series just has a lot of it can't be matched. This is one of the greatest.
Mhm.
You know, if you can get past the long ass cutscenes. So I recommended the game to a coworker, a few people actually,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
like, "You didn't tell me about all these damn cutscenes," and I'm like, yeah, I forgot, man. But the story is good. You should.
Right.
So I mean,
Hey, make some popcorn. Just sit there and watch. It's great.
yeah, yeah. But that's that, I'm almost done with that, and then I'll move on to
Yeah.
Final Fantasy.
Okay. Okay. Uh-oh. Yeah. So, as I said, I was playing Dragon's Dogma 2. I've also been doing Helldivers 2, and that game just continues to be the greatest thing to live service since Fortnite. The developers does such a fantastic job with interacting with the community, playing, playing along with the community. Like there was this whole thing about flying bugs being in the game. Some people pointed it out, and I think I mentioned this last podcast. I don't remember, but some people pointed it out, and the developers were like, "No, bugs don't fly. What are you talking about?" And then when the update hit and they have flying bugs, the developer came back and was like, "Yeah, of course, bugs can fly sometimes. Like, who doesn't know that?" And it's just so hilarious to watch a games of service, live service game just nail it the way that they're doing it. So props to them. That game continues to be a good time. Like I have gotten to the rhythm of, oh, there is there's a little order or like a little, what do you call it? The dailies, a daily thing to do to get
Yeah.
some coin or whatever. Yeah. So like I got into the rhythm of like checking what the daily thing to do is, doing it, getting that done, maybe attacking some of the major order, which is liberate this planet or whatever to get even more coin. Like I'll do like maybe 2 or 3 matches and then just bounce. So
How many dailies are you doing at this point, DJ?
well, now it is only Gundam and now Helldivers 2. Like I've given up Genshin Impact. Like I've deleted that from my console. I still watch some of the YouTube videos to get an idea of like what's happening, but I don't have space in my heart for that game anymore. It's just
Do you
too
do you
much stuff.
do you lay in bed like Wolverine with a picture of Genshin Impact?
It depends when they have like a new character come out that I'm on my phone like.
Mm-mm-mm.
But yeah, it's I've had to give up Genshin Impact. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like Baldur's Gate 3 is still a thing, and of course Gundam is still a thing. But I don't need to talk about Gundam because
Yeah.
actually, actually,
No,
actually,
no,
Gundam.
no, no.
Okay, yeah, you're right. You're right. Next week I'll have something because they're gonna do something that could be interesting. We'll see.
I doubt
So
it.
yeah, we'll see. All right, that's been it for this podcast. We did it. We did it. Good. This has been another episode of Press Start Gamers Digest. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making it. Don't forget to leave us a like, leave us a little clicky as you subscribe to the channel, and then hit the notification bell as like a little double click, no, a single click to make sure you get all the little notifications that you get from our channel to know when things are happening. I even think you get notified of like shorts that we put out too. So that'd be cool for you to
Oh,
see
I
when
need
that's
to talk to
happening.
you about that, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, cool, cool. yeah, so if you are listening, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or the podcast service you're currently tuned in on. By the way, Google Podcast is going away, so I think it's jumping to YouTube Music.
Yeah.
I think is that going away too?
What, YouTube Music?
YouTube Music? I don't know. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay. But yeah, so get our podcasts wherever podcasts are put out. So we'll be there. And if we're not, let us know. Tell us. And I'll talk to the person and we'll fight them. All right. Yeah, that's it. You know. Oh, and also join our Discord at presssecond2start.com/Discord. Do it. Just do it. All right, now it's it. So you take care, you be safe, wash your hands, play games, and call a friend. See how they're doing. Making sure they're also playing Helldivers with you. Do that. Bye.
Buffalo, 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 Buffalo. Alrighty. You know that's a complete sentence, right?
Is it?
There's some shit with the word buffalo where that's actually.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I'll do that.
Right on time. Trey just walked in.